done a nice job throughout the meet. I think one thing that was a negative the last 5 weeks for us is the weather in Gainesville. So we have a long course pool that's outside, and obviously our inside pool is the 25-meter courses, two of them. So we were kind of disadvantaged, had to move inside a lot. So we didn't do much of our quality stuff, long course meters, and I think that kind of hurt us just a little bit. But overall, the people who came here to qualify for the meet, except for one DQ, did, and we're pretty happy of where we're at.
With a short time, back in the water, how do you feel about how Caeleb has done?
I thought, his first full week of training was probably first week in May. And it wasn't even a full week. I kept him at it. We started at 3 practices, and then I got him all the way up to 8, and I maintained 8 throughout the summer until we started to rest. Obviously, resting for him, he didn't have anything to rest from because of his time off. But overall, very pleased. He was very happy where he's at. Now we have a starting point, and we can go from there.
How would you characterize what he's been going through for the last year?
Well, mental health is a serious issue, and everybody deals with it differently. Sometimes it takes time to heal from that, and everybody heals differently. But I just wanted to make sure he was ready to go mentally, physically, and obviously talking to his therapist when we started, it was the right time to start.
What was, given the layoff that he had, what was the goal for this meet? What was he looking to accomplish, I guess?
Well, obviously he wanted to do better, but for us, it's just posting times that we can improve upon. And I don't know if you guys watched his races, but I'm pretty sure you guys did. He was right there, but he just can't close the deal. That's just the layoff. I think he lacks power, which obviously if you haven't been in the weight room for a long time, that shows up. But I think he's in a good spot. Now we just need to start training and then get ready for next summer.
What is it about where he is physically and where he is mentally that makes you confident he's going to get to a really
I think Caeleb has always done a good job taking care of his body, first and foremost. And when you take care of your body, the longevity in this sport will enhance. You look at Katie, for instance.
Yeah.
She takes very good care of herself. And obviously, looking at him, he looks pretty good physically. And now we just need to get a full years of training in, full year of weights in, and I think he'll be okay.
How about where he is mentally?
Mentally, he's right where he needs to be. He's happy. It's the first time I've seen him happy swimming in a long time, and a happy athlete is a fast athlete. Obviously, he's not fast yet, but under the circumstances where he's at, he did post some good times.
What's Caeleb's mindset after this meet, given his performances, and does he have his eyes on Paris as a long-term goal?
Of course, our goal is to be in Indy next summer, to qualify for the Olympic Games. I think he's in a good spot. He said he was very pleased with all his races. He's mentally where he needs to be, physically not there yet, but his strokes are good. He felt good in all his strokes, and that's kind of, when a golfer loses his swing, he's not very good to deal with, but he's happy with his strokes, so that's a good thing.
The first night, it was kind of an unusual scene to see, someone of his caliber in the C final. What made him want to go through with swimming that feat?
Well, he hasn't done it in a long time at this stage in front of people, and for an athlete his caliber, two things. It's good for him to know where he's at, but it's also good for people sitting in the stands to see Caeleb back swimming and being happy. So overall, everybody benefited from it.
Will he swim tonight?
He is not swimming tonight. I think he's heading home.
I wanted to ask about Emma's DQ in the 400 IM. What was your reaction to that?
DQs are never fun, because these athletes put in so much time, effort, energy, and it's just, it is what it is. It's breaststroke. Obviously, a lot of breaststrokers got DQ'd, but it's not our call. It's their call, and obviously, we have to go with the call.
If there's some confusion, is it the pullout or the stroke?
It's as she finishes her kick, it's a dolphin.
Is this case where I think they were using video as an identifier as opposed to a confirmer of the calls, and so maybe that's why there was so many more?
Yeah, I think so, because when you're watching video, you can nitpick any little thing, and but obviously they felt that she did a dolphin kick, and that's the call was made.
How do you help her get through? I mean, it was a rough meet for her. What do you say to her in a situation like that, and how do you help her bounce back?
Well, she, the thing I was excited for, because she said that's one of the best prelim swims she's ever had. And after the fact, I pulled her aside. I think, just bump her up a little bit. What did you think you could go up? She goes, I definitely could have gone faster. Could she have gone 33? I don't know, but I think 34, 35, 36 was doable.
So, from an outside perspective, I feel like Katie Ledecky seems to have grown more as a person since moving to Florida. How do you think she's developed, like, as a person, as a leader, like, on Florida and Team USA?
I think she leads by example. She doesn't say a lot of things, but when she's on deck, everybody pays attention, and she's done wonders for our program. She's done wonders for the sport, for U.S. swimming in general, and I think her coming to Florida was awesome for me, because I've never dealt with an athlete that polished before with such a long history, and I think she's helped me as a coach. She's helped the other staff as a coach. She's helped having the men and women do things that are only done with exceptional athletes, and when they see that day to day, they see to think that they can do that too. So she's helped in lots of ways.
Question back to Caeleb. You mentioned that you're seeing him happy again. When did you notice Caeleb's happiness returning? Was it when he came back in, I guess, January, was it? Or is it more recent?
Well, he was going to start swimming when the time was right for him. There was a lot of, obviously last summer didn't end well. And an athlete like that going through some issues, it's a big deal, not only for him, for his family, for the program, for U.S. swimming. And an athlete like that has lots on his shoulders. And I wanted him to have everything removed from his shoulders. He needed to focus on him. And whenever that time was right, he had a big smile on his face daily, day in, day out. I think that was time for him to start training and get ready, which I think we started probably in March, late February, March, and up to this point he's done an amazing job.
Okay, so he came back swimming again in March, or late February.
Yeah, late February, and again I started him in 3 practices for 2 weeks, and then we added one for another 2 until we got to 8, and I kept it at 8.
And what did contribute to his withdrawing from Worlds? We haven't talked to him since then. So.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to go into that, but obviously athletes go through numerous things that we can put our finger on, but that is for Caeleb to talk about. It's not right for me to talk about what happened and what state he was in, but I can tell you this: he's bounced back, he's happy, and we're ready to go.
Do you expect him to be full go from now on?
Yes, barring injuries. But I think physically he's good, mentally he's good, and he's happy to start to grind.
How do you get the power back? As you know,
It's the way, you gotta be in the weight room.
one question about Katie Ledecky. She mentioned that was doing more yardage
Yeah.
than she had in her career, which seems a little counterintuitive. But it's she had a great swim in the 800. So I guess what was the strategy?
It's a little bit of everything. The yardage is different. The intensity is probably more different than any place she's been to, because when she came to our program, before she came to our program, she was only racing the clock because she hadn't had anybody who could keep up with her. But the first week, she realized that people were being my face on a day-to-day basis. And I think the intensity coupled with the yardage, that is probably the hardest thing for her to get used to. And getting used to that, obviously, she physically, mentally, it's one where, obviously there are some really good young females coming up. And I think racing with the guys in our program is going to help.
Yeah, is she primarily training with Bobby and Kieran and has neck?
Yeah, she moves IM. Sometimes I have to give her a couple of days off, and she's pretty tired, which happens maybe once every couple of weeks. And she's solely distance in our program.
Just curious about Caeleb. Do you know when he'll race next?
Probably not until the fall. I think he's going to go back and get in the weight room, swim a little bit, and until we start back in August. So there's a good chunk of time to get his strength back. And he's a married man, so he has to be, and he has lots of animals to take care of. So he's going to do that all next month, and until we get back in August.
So going back to last year, before he withdrew from Worlds, was that something that maybe like you saw coming, or like when he did it, were you surprised, or like?
Nothing surprises me anymore. It's the nature of the beast. It's the pressure. Especially when you're pace of U.S. swimming on the men's side, that adds extra pressure. But I think we've turned a corner again, and I think I'm happy to see him back where he used to be.
When did you know he was gonna withdraw, and how early was that before the day he actually withdrew? Or
When he what?
when did you know that he was gonna withdraw before it came out?
It's whatever we got the call that he couldn't go. It's simple as that. And I wasn't gonna. When somebody's going through some difficulty, you have to, have all options. That you have to take care of the individual first, and we did that. As a whole, the U.S. swimming staff did a fantastic job. The Met staff did a fantastic job, and the coaches, the athletes were all supportive of it. And,
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.